Hey everyone, how is it going? I haven't made a video in a very long time. I just wanted to hop on here. It has been 17 days since the birth of my baby, Danger Zen Matias Graham. It's super crazy to think that he is 14, 15, 16, 17 days old today. He was born on Sunday, September 20th, 2020. Super nuts. I have so many videos that I want to make. I want to make the video talking about the birth. I want to make a video talking about postpartum recovery and my experience with postpartum so far. Basically, how do you have enough time to do all that with an infant? And I'm also taking 2 classes online. So trying to do all the things I need to do around the house and do my classes, do my homework, and then take care of him, plus take care of myself, is a lot of things. But my husband was off work for 2 weeks, which made things incredibly easy. Well, I shouldn't say easy because it was still difficult, but he definitely has done all the grocery shopping. He has been the one that's tidied the house while I was getting my mobility back. So by day 8, I'd say, that was when there was kind of a turning point, I would say. It could have been before that, day 6 maybe, but for some reason day 8 is sticking in my brain as day 8 was a turning point where physically I felt a lot more like myself. And I'll go into a postpartum video discussing all that in detail. I already made a short video showing you guys my postpartum supplies, things that I had prepared in advance, but then also things that I needed to purchase that I didn't have prepared in advance that I wish that I had, so I'm going to hook you up with that. But yeah, I don't know, I know a lot of people say have family over and to come and clean your house and bring you meals, and with COVID, that is not as much of a thing, I think, for women that have given birth this year. It's just people aren't seeing their families. People aren't allowing their families to see their babies. My dad came and saw our son 4 days after he was born, but I had seen my dad through the entire COVID situation, so I knew he didn't have COVID, and I felt comfortable. But, for people whose families don't live in the same area, it's super sketchy, So anyways, we didn't have anyone come here and clean. We didn't have anyone deliver meals. Also, just because my husband was off work, he's perfectly capable of taking care of that stuff. And Danger obviously sleeps, so he isn't up 24/7. Right now he's sleeping, hence why I'm able to make this video. So hopefully he'll sleep for at least 3 hours. He usually does once he's officially out. He's been asleep for an hour and 20 minutes. So once he's been asleep for this long of a chunk, it's pretty much guaranteed that he'll stay asleep for a good amount of time. So I've got laundry going. I have my salad that I've eaten half of. This is the first thing I've eaten today. I've got my seltzer. Like I said, I have my laundry going. I was able to actually put some makeup on today. I had a very rough morning. I found out that my grandmother, who was supposed to come and visit me on Saturday with my mom from Canada, is not going to be coming for various reasons, so that was really upsetting. And I just had one of those moments where I was just what is going on? My life is just I've just had this beautiful baby boy, and I can't even, my grandma can't come, and it's a combination of her age, but mostly because of COVID. I think that had this situation been different and COVID wasn't a thing, she would be coming. But yeah, just not being able to even go home to Canada and see my husband's family and my extended family. My dad lives here, and that's all the family we really have. I do have a cousin here, and his family, but we didn't grow up together really, so it's just not quite the same. It's still nice to have them, but it isn't quite the same. Obviously, as family that you've grown up being around your whole life. So I literally cried for probably 3 hours this morning. I called my brother and cried. I called my sister-in-law and didn't mean to cry. I thought I was done crying, and then I ended up crying. And, people are like, how are you doing? And, you know that there's all these hormones surging through your body, but at the same time, I felt like I have been doing really well, emotionally. I've obviously had some moments, but, going into pregnancy and then having given birth and being now postpartum, I thought I'd be a little more fucked up, to be honest. I thought that mentally I might not, like, I don't know, like you hear all these stories about, like, I didn't really connect with my baby at first, or I had postpartum depression, or I had the baby blues, or felt a little weird. I have had a few moments. There was one moment when I cried, a couple moments when I've cried in the middle of the night when I can't calm him down, and it's always after breastfeeding. I love breastfeeding, it's great, but I hate the part where you have to burp him. I just want him to be able to lay there and enjoy the milk in his tummy and feel like he's had his food, and he's always all like, like he's precious. And then I have to literally pick him up and then burp him, and he doesn't like it, clearly, and he starts crying, and it like breaks my heart, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to make you cry, but clearly he needs to get the burp out. And I've learned my lesson where I haven't wanted to move him, so I don't, and then he ends up puking. So it's better to just make him uncomfortable for those couple of minutes until he burps, and then he can go back down and lay down and breastfeed or just chill. So anyways, I've had a few moments when I can't soothe him, and that upsets me, and it's just like, that's when you're like, oh my god, I can't do this right now. Like, I'm crying, and I'm sweating like a pig. I've changed my nursing bra, like, every day that I wake up, I have to change my nursing bra, because it's soaked with sweat, and my shirt is soaked, like, I'm soaked, and I'm not used to that. And that's definitely a postpartum thing, is being excessively sweaty, because you're getting rid of all the fluids that have been in your body. So anyways, I feel like I don't even know what the purpose of this video is, but I just wanted to hop on here and kind of just, I don't know, talk about how I'm feeling, but not getting too much into details about the birth or the postpartum period in terms of detail, because I want to make 2 separate videos for that. But in general, it feels really crazy to be a mom, but also not crazy at all. So it's weird, because it feels like very natural, and as if I've just always been a mom, to him even. And even though I've literally only known him for 16 days, has it been? I literally have to keep checking my thing. 17 days. It's strange, because technically he was in not technically, actually he was in my body for a lot longer than 17 days, obviously, throughout the pregnancy, and you definitely develop some sort of relationship that's not tangible. Like, I can't describe feeling like I knew him before I met him, but you just do, in a weird way. There's a connection, clearly. But it's impossible to describe it. And, yeah, it's like, even though I'm super, like, my life has literally been flipped upside down. Like, yesterday I actually left the house for the first time by myself since, like, I went to Target to get a, infant carrier, because I have one, but it's very structured, and I think it'll work better when he's a little older, but it's not right. Like, I need more of a wrap, because he's very small and he likes to be right on my chest. But I also need to be able to move my arms. I can't just sit on the couch like this hours and hours and hours, because I need to move around. I prefer to move around. So wraps are amazing for that. So the one I got is called a Boppy, and I'm going to go into detail and make a video where I literally tell you guys all of the baby stuff that I use. The swing that we got, the pack and play, the DockATot. It isn't actually the DockATot brand, but it's a similar thing. Just all that stuff I'm going to talk about. The things that we got that we haven't really used, etc. So I went to Target for the first time by myself, meaning I didn't have a baby inside of my belly, and I didn't have a baby with me, and I wasn't with Sean. And that was surreal. I put on, what song is that? Medusa? Is that it? Okay, now I need to look, because it's a song that I really, really love, because it stokes me out, and it's on, so I made a playlist for Danger, because I had a home birth. So the playlist had songs that make me happy, that I've always loved, and some new ones. So it is called, Medusa, Meduza, Lose Control. that song, I don't know, it just really does it for me. And then Connor Ross like that. So anyways, plugged my phone in and literally cranked it the fuck up and played the music, and I was just like, I don't know, I had this strange realization, like, I am still me. Like, I had always had this fear, I had so many fears about childbirth, about being pregnant, about postpartum, about everything that I've done in this year. All of the things I've done, I feared immensely. I'm also a person that feared marriage. I feared going back to school. I feared so many things. So fearful. But it's weird because it's like I'm not fearful about like taking chances with certain things, but when it comes to large life events, I'm very apprehensive and I really weigh pros and cons, and I make sure I try to make the right decisions by being very, very cautious. But then again, I also make very impulsive decisions on the flip side. So I don't know what that means. That's weird. I'm a Taurus too, so I shouldn't be ever making, rash decisions, but I definitely have a lot in my life. And I can actually chalk that up to addictions. Rash decisions that I have made have been under the influence of alcohol or other substances. Or being hungover. Being hungover, I don't know if you guys ever experienced this, but I think the inhibitions are still, you're still inhibited even when you're hungover. Like Sean and I have made some of the most impulsive purchases, like literally buying a car, plane tickets, like spending shit tons of money when we've been hungover. So I don't know what that is. I think you're still inhibited. So, look at me. I've gone on this like segue, this tangent. I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, about feeling like myself. So that was something I was really concerned about. So if you're out there and you're considering getting pregnant, but you're just really worried about, will it change me as a person? Will it change my relationship? And I think those are very common worries. I'm not saying like, oh, it's unique to me that I was worried about that stuff, but I think it's fascinating, like how afraid I actually was versus now that I've done it. Like, I was actually afraid to move in with anyone. I was actually afraid to have a boyfriend. Like, let's back way the fuck up. I was afraid to be in a relationship. And the longest relationship I'd ever been in was 1 year, and then I met Sean, and now we've been together forever. It's like I was 23 when we met, and I'm 35. So, I went from never having been in a long-term relationship to being with one person for a very long time. It seems surreal, but that's how you know it's the right person, right? You can't shake them. I would always get to a point with people where I was like, I'm not interested, or just, I would get over it. It wasn't even like a decision of like, oh, I don't know, is it working or isn't? It would just be like, not really, it's not anything. And I just kind of always thought I'd be like that. Like, I wouldn't have the capacity to be with someone long term because everyone would eventually annoy me. But he never annoyed me. Literally, I never got to the point where I was like, ugh, I need you to get the fuck away from me, like how I would with pretty much everyone. So anyways, I was afraid to get into a relationship, then I got into a very long-term relationship. I was afraid to get married, and then we got married, and it was like, what was I afraid of? Afraid to move in together, that was the thing, but we did that pretty much immediately. Afraid to get pregnant, afraid to give birth, and now here I am on the other side. So I guess the message is, we're at 14 minutes, and I want to keep this pretty short because I'm rambling, but I feel the need to like record something because I've been just posting pictures of the baby, and I have like a very short attention span. That's one thing I've definitely noticed. People tell you like postpartum you're gonna be like baby brain, and that's literally like I have no memory and attention span. Like, I have to write everything down, and I always did, but this is like next level. Like, I can't keep anything in my brain. See, I've already like lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Yes. If you are concerned about losing yourself, don't be. If you have those concerns, you probably won't lose yourself. Maybe if you're not concerned with that, then I could see how maybe you could just like lose track. But yeah, I definitely still feel like myself. I just feel enriched. I feel fuller because I have this now tiny baby that's my son, my responsibility. Half of me and half of Sean, and it's very cool. And I can't believe that I almost didn't do it because we were very, very, very on the fence. And I don't know, even though this period is really difficult, like with COVID and being alone and not being able to take him into a grocery store because I don't want to take my infant into a grocery store with COVID. So it's isolating, and the fact that we're coming into winter, it's beautiful out right now, but winter is challenging for me, and so my mission is basically to, if ever there was a time to create the life that I've always wanted to have for myself, now is the time, because I'm now doing it for somebody else. He is completely he needs me for everything. And so it is my mission to be that person to him. And then therefore to myself. Like, it's crazy. And I can't believe it's just the beginning. Like, he's literally not even a month old. It's crazy. I'm going to get to go through so many amazing transitions and times. So, anyways, I'm going to go because I got to finish the salad and get to my to-do list. But hope you guys are doing awesome. I'm still sober. Even though I could have had a drink on September 20th, I could have been like, honey, there's a bottle of Kraken on top of the cupboard. Bring it down. Mix me a cocktail. But you know what? Fuck you, alcohol. That's how I feel about it. And if you haven't heard of Sober Babes Club, check it out on Instagram. It is an amazing community of badass sober babes, and babes meaning men and women, non-binary, whatever you are, come as you are. Whether you're in AA and work the 12 steps, or you've never even been to a meeting, and that's me. I'm actually kind of curious about meetings. Once things stabilize with the baby, if that's ever a possibility, stabilize. That's something I've had to let go. Schedules, it's really hard for me. I'd consider going to some meetings just to like meet other sober people in my area. But Sober Babes Club is just an awesome Instagram account. And Flavio is the dude that runs it out of LA. And he's amazing and just really inspirational. Posts a lot of memes, but then he features people and he has awesome merch. So definitely check it out. And yeah, just because you're a new mom, a dad, doesn't mean you need booze to, get through it. I think that you gotta be in it. Like, and I'm not passing judgment on anyone. Like, as much as I say, like, like you're a new mom, you're a mom, you don't need to be a wino, you don't need to be a wine mom, which has kind of become synonymous with motherhood. It's like, oh, mom needs her wine. And I think that's just like shitty. It's just like a fucking shitty excuse. But also, like, I'm not judging. I would judge myself, but I'm not judging you. Seriously. But what I will say is, if you just put the wine aside and be in the moment, whether it's shitty or whether it's amazing, like, it's going to be better just to be in that, because eventually the shittiness is going to creep back in when the wine is gone and the hangover sets in. That's just my 2 cents. People have a lot to say about, being pro-drink. And so I think it's kind of weird when you don't drink anymore and people feel like they don't want you to judge them because they still drink. Or there's this, like, thing where you shouldn't really talk about not being a drinker anymore because you don't want to, like, offend people that still drink. But realistically, it's like, why the fuck not? Like, if it offends you that I'm sober and that I'm talking about, like, the virtues of sobriety, then maybe you should think about your drinking. Maybe that's a sign. If you're, like, offended by me talking about my sobriety, And so as much as I'm, like, apologizing and saying I'm not judging you, I'm actually not judging you. Like, I don't care if you drink or you don't drink, but all I'm saying is, like, I have been a drunk and I have been sober, and being sober is infinitely better on so many levels. And yeah, sometimes it would be really fun to know that, well, at 5 or 6 o'clock, maybe I could like mix a cocktail and have that warm feeling of relaxation wash over me like instantly, which is what happens when I have a drink. But I'm not going to. I'm going to be in it, feel whatever I'm feeling. So I just encourage you. Here's my what's it called? PSA, public service announcement. If you never tried to be sober for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, you should try it. See how you feel. Anyways, it's 20 minutes now. I'm going to go. Okay.